Becoming a pediatric dentist requires that you get into residency. Today, we're going to be talking with a doctor who just matched in PEDO, one of the most challenging and most popular dental residencies right now. Stay tuned. Hi, this is Dr. Darwin, a new dentist coach, with another episode of Ask Dr. Darwin on the New Dentist Podcast Show, where we talk about getting into dental school, surviving dental school, getting into residency, surviving residency, and then life as a new dentist. Be sure that you are subscribing to the YouTube channel here and also hit the bell notifications down below so that you're notified every time new videos are being released on Tuesdays and on Saturdays, okay? Also, this episode today is brought to you by Dr. Darwin On Demand. Dr. Darwin On Demand. It's the new exclusive membership community for new dentists. And when I say new dentists, we mean pre-dental students, current dental students, dental residents, new dentist grads that have just graduated within the last 5 years, and then also international dentists looking to get a license here in the US. It's full of camaraderie, full of gems, and it's a community where you can learn and continue to advance in your professional development. We have weekly Q&As, a monthly masterclass, and a whole lot more. For more details, go down below and check it out here online at thenewdentistcoach.com/on demand. That's thenewdentistcoach.com/on demand. And we'll see you on the network soon. Today we're going to be talking. We have a special guest that's going to be talking with us and spilling all the tea, and we're going to be brushing it up with her as we learn a little bit more about how she got into PEDO residency. Today we're joined with Dr. Destynee Horner, who's going to share with us all of her tips and how she did it. How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing amazing. Thanks for having me.
Yes, awesome. And you look a little different because I think I'm used to seeing you with your glasses on. Don't you have glasses?
I do have glasses, but the glare, it was too much.
Yeah. I have to wear them now too because of being on the computer all the time. But tell us a little bit more about you and introduce yourself.
Okay, well, I am Destynee Horner. I'm originally from Nashville, Tennessee. Well, a little bit outside of Tennessee, or Nashville, but I just say Nashville. I went to undergrad at Austin Peay State University in Clarksville, Tennessee. Then I did a gap year in between dental school, and then I attended LECOM School of Dental Medicine in Bradenton, Florida. And then I graduated last year in 2020. Right now, I am out in Colorado doing an AEGD residency at a community health center. And I absolutely love public health, get to see a lot of kids, a lot of Medicaid patients, of course, and it's a big Spanish-speaking population, so I've been learning a lot of Spanish. Yeah, that's where I am now.
Se habla español, huh?
Right.
Yeah, you got to speak Spanish. It's one of those languages that just you can just take it anywhere, so to speak, no matter what. So let's talk a little bit before we talk about PEDO. Let's talk about why you chose dentistry. Many health careers. I can't remember what your undergrad degree was in. Were you a bio major, chemistry major?
Yep, bio major, chem minor.
Yeah. So what led you to dentistry?
Well, since like elementary school, I knew that I wanted to be some type of doctor, but I wasn't for sure which discipline it was going to be. And then it was the summer before my senior year in high school, and I did an HCOP program at Meharry Medical College. And it was like a 6-week program. We got to shadow all these doctors and see all these cool surgeries. And then the last week of the program, we went into the dental school, and it was like a light bulb type of moment for me. And since then, I knew that I wanted to do that. I worked towards it in undergrad, and I did it.
Yes,
By
you
God's
did.
grace.
Yeah, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. All right, so let's dive into this
Mhm.
pedo thing because you and a lot of people that I've been talking to recently that have either applied and gotten in have this affinity for pedo. So tell us why pedo for you?
Well, it didn't start out that way for me. Believe it or not, I went into dental school. I wasn't even like focused on like specializing in anything. And I was like definitely not kids. And then I just started working with them in the clinics, third year, doing more volunteer work with children. And then I had like my mentor in dental school. She's a pediatric dentist at my school, and she
Who was at Lecom, right? Who was the
at
person?
LECOM, yes, her name is Dr. Stacy Lebetsky. And then one time she just pulled me aside and she was just like, I really see it in you, and I really believe that this field is for you. And she said that I didn't even see it in myself yet, and
Right.
she saw it in me. And then I started realizing more and more, I love this so much, and I really see myself making a difference that way. And then I slowly started to realize, now y'all can have the adults.
Give me the
I'm
kids. Give me
good.
the kids.
Yeah, I'm good on the adult.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, that's usually how people come, kind of come
Mhm.
to it, some kind of experience, and they, start working more exclusively,
Yeah,
whether
it
in
was like
dental.
the children and the special needs
Hmm.
populations as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Cool, cool. Well, welcome to
Mhm.
PEDO.
Thank
So let's
you.
talk about how you prepared for your application because
Okay.
these, right now, these last
Mhm.
5 years, PEDO's been one of the top programs, probably the most competitive programs.
Mhm.
And so let's talk about how you prepared, because it sounds like around third year stuff started clicking, and then maybe even fourth year of dental school, you were like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So
Yep.
so tell us how you prepared for, how'd you put together your application?
Okay. So it started actually my first year, like right when I got to dental school. I had like upperclassmen mentors, and they just encouraged me to start preparing myself to be a good candidate if I wanted to specialize. Now, at the time, I didn't want to. I didn't know I wanted to, but I was like, I took that in, and I knew that if the time called for it, I needed to have myself set up for it. So I started like doing more leadership activities at the school, volunteering more, got into research, and I really,
Research.
yeah, yeah,
You,
research.
you did some research. Oh
I
wow.
did.
What did you do?
One of me and my classmate, we did a research project on opioids, and basically, we did like a survey of the population of students at our school and their attitudes and perceptions on opioid use and abuse, and whether they were well prepared to identify those drug seeking behaviors. And then we presented at a couple research days, and then I also presented at the SNDA conference a couple years ago. So that was some
Good.
good experience there. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Research is always good, especially for specialty programs, because most programs you'll be doing some type of research in addition
Yes,
to
definitely.
lit reviews, journal club, evidence-based, items and research as well. So
Yeah.
that's good. Anything else that you remember specifically that kind of helped you prepare you for your application?
Yeah, I was also involved in like a long-standing outreach service. I volunteered at the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch for 2 years. Basically, it's like a group home for kids who have been displaced from their families. And I would volunteer there weekly. Did that for about 2 years, so that was really great to have that on my CV. Killer personal statement. I would say put a lot of time and effort into that. and editing it, sending it out to people to be proofread, things like that. And then some great letters, I would say. And then also doing things in a timely fashion helped me as far as my stress level and anxiety of getting everything sent out by deadlines, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about those deadlines as relates to schools. What was your plan? Like, how many schools did you apply to, and why did you pick those particular schools when you were applying?
Yeah, so my lit I narrowed it down to 14 total programs. And then I had like certain, of course, criteria everyone does for what they want out of the program. And yeah, I did my research. This year was special because programs weren't doing in-person externships or anything like that, but they did do a lot of virtual externships. It wasn't like the full experience of what you would get going there in person, but it was like a lot of Q&A, get to talk with the residents and hear from them and the faculty too. So that was very helpful in kind of like gauging the programs in that crazy pandemic year.
Now, were those virtual experiences, were those as part of your application? I mean, before your application, or once you heard from schools and they started the interview? Was that part of the interview process, or was that before the interview process?
Those were beforehand.
Okay.
So once I had narrowed down my programs, yeah, that was beforehand. And then when the interviews came, there were separate socials with the residents, and
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Good. And let's talk about those socials, because if you're going to the social, that means you got an invitation for the
Yep.
interview, right?
Yep.
So let's talk about that. The interviews, as far as you applied to 14 programs. How many interviews did you get? And tell us about interview day. If you remember any particular questions that kind of like push you back, like, oh.
Yeah. So I had 4 interviews total. And of course, I did all of them. Each one of them were virtual this year. So that was nice on my pocketbook, right? And they were each very different. I would have to say each of them had the social maybe the night before, or kind of like during the interview, or maybe the week before, with like the residents. And it was very like informal. They made it comfortable for you to ask your questions and things like that. So it was good. All the interview days, I set up like, it was the same each time. I set up like a nice background and make sure I had my lighting and my sound. And I was had troubleshooted everything way beforehand of the interview time, just to be prepared, because you know how the computers can be in
That's
this.
right.
Yeah,
That's
in
right.
this
That's
age.
key.
Yeah, that's key.
Good.
Yeah, I always was professional. I always wore my full business suit from head to toe, even though it was just in this frame, but just in case, like I was always worried that there was going to be a test.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Now, were there any questions that you got in some of those interviews that you were like, any of those types of questions that you remember?
It was always like the typical questions. And then there was always like, if you could be a Disney character, which Disney character would you be? That type of thing.
What did you say? What did you say? Which
you
character?
You can probably guess what I said. I always like came off the top of my head, and I would always like default to Princess Tiana.
Princess. Yeah, there you go.
Always.
Good.
Yeah, but one of my craziest questions was, they asked me, what was the last funniest moment that you had? And I drew a blank on that question. I don't know why I could not answer that question to save my life. But I just came up with, it was like some kind of corny answer that I gave. And then it was like a funny moment because I laughed at myself, and then the interviewers were able to laugh with me too. So I kind of like switched it up a little bit, even though I got stuck.
Yeah, they were asking questions to kind of see a little bit more about your personality and your own character. So that's good.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
good. All right,
Mhm.
cool. So let's get to the rank list because
Mhm.
you had to put your order in back
Mhm.
in January. You had to
Yep.
come up with those four programs. Tell us a little bit about how you rank them based on your interview.
Yeah, so I actually ranked my number one, and that's the one that I matched to. Um, so I ranked that one because it's at a community health center. I knew a little bit more about the program because I had been there pre-COVID, and
Oh.
and I knew that the residents were super happy there. It had all the features that I was looking for out of a program, the didactic component as well, and ortho is incorporated in that program more so than the other programs. And then I kind of just made like I sat down and I wrote down like the amazing things of all the programs, the good and maybe the poor or deficient things in the programs. And once I saw it on paper, that's kind of how I made my rank list. Mhm.
Yeah, that's a training that I have for people to do to be able to really optimize their rank list to
Yes.
make sure that they are in front of the logarithm that favors you all, favors residents anyway, but still you still have to kind of really use your notes and other things from the interview to
Yeah.
really optimize to make sure you get you get yourself in front of that logarithm when they put everything together. So your number one choice and
Yes.
you matched it. So where are you going to be going?
I'm going back to Florida. I'll be doing the NYU Langone program in Tampa.
Nice.
Mhm.
Congratulations. Yes,
Thank
Tampa.
you. Thank you. So,
Nice warm weather.
yes,
Nice
yes,
warm weather.
really.
Don't have to
Yeah.
worry about skiing. You don't have to go skiing and putting on no hat or nothing else. So
Right.
that's great. Congratulations. I got
Thank you.
um some docs in Florida I want to connect you with too eventually.
Nice. Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, in the Tampa
Mhm.
area,
Mhm.
Orlando,
Yep.
etc. So that's good. So yes, again, now that you've gotten in, you've gone through the process, and hopefully you guys that are listening, you are continuing to listen because this is where you're going to get some advice and tips on how to get into pedo from someone who just did it. So, Dr. Horner,
Absolutely.
tell us a little bit about, give us like 3 or 4 tips
Mhm.
for those individuals that are applying to pedo now.
Mhm.
What they should do. What are some of the key things that they need to zero in on?
I would say to make sure your CV is kind of flattering to the eye and make sure you sell yourself on paper. There was like record-breaking numbers of applicants this year. So I know it was very tough for people to stand out. So whatever you can do to stand out prior to your interview, because of course you're going to shine in your interview, but prior to that, whatever you can do to do that, I would definitely recommend. Also recommend you putting a lot of effort into the personal statement, like I mentioned earlier, and just really tell personal stories, not just like a bland cookie cutter personal statement, but just really put those personal moments in there so they can really kind of feel your soul and really connect with you before they meet you. And then I would also say pay attention to the little details of what other supplemental materials the programs need, such as like the fee, where to send those checks to, if they need you to send in like a headshot via email or to a specific account, things like that. There's like little details here and there that you need to follow those directions so you don't exclude yourself from the interview before you even, get a chance.
Yeah, follow those instructions.
Yeah,
You gotta
follow
follow
those
those
directions.
instructions, little details,
Yeah,
so that you don't wipe yourself out from even being considered on the interview list as well. So very
definitely,
important. Okay,
definitely.
cool. Well, so any current projects you're working on right now you want to share with us, things that you're doing or looking forward to do,
Mhm.
even after you finish residency?
Yeah, so I am I'm just in my program now. I'm doing like little shadowing presentations for people who've reached out to me on Instagram for their organizations. Preparing to get ready to do another cross-country move, and then possibly a children's book in the works.
Children's book as in related to oral health, or just a different type of children's book?
Yes, related to oral health and my journey, and just we'll have to see.
We'll see. We'll see. Well,
Guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to have to stay connected and kind of follow your journey
Yes.
through PEDO, and maybe through that process between
Mhm.
research, learning, some
Mhm.
of those masterful techniques that you all as pediatric dentists are able to do, and then somehow I'm sure that book will start to continue to develop. So we definitely will want to keep following you doing this journey as well. How's that sound?
That sounds incredible.
What's the best way for people to contact you if they have questions or just want to
Mhm.
ask you some more things?
I would say my direct email, dhornerj@gmail.com. I'm also on social media on Instagram, DMD in demand, and on Facebook. But yeah, email me.
DMD in demand is
Hmm.
your IG, right?
Yep.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Dr. Horner, first of all, congratulations. Thank you for sharing these tips on how to get into PEDO. It's been great to connect with you, and we're gonna again definitely want to follow your journey now into PEDO. Now that you've
Yes,
got your degree, now you're gonna get your specialty as well. So we want
definitely.
to follow you, and thanks so much, guys. Make sure you check out these next videos right here, and hopefully these are helpful as well. And that's our time. So we're gonna roll out. Time to finish up here. Love, peace, and smiles. We'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.